All right, welcome to episode 1 of the Easy Project. Yeah, man, let's get straight into it with our boy, Anthony Bartolo.
Yeah, my man.
Thanks,
Look,
boys.
I'm going to give
Thanks
his
for having
flowers today. I'm going to give him his flowers.
Give him his flowers.
Look, he's the owner of Kami Restaurant, the owner of Maggie Lane, partner of Lucky Bell, and also a gym owner of the ACTV Strength Co. All over Australia, mate.
Wow.
One of the best gyms in Australia.
Well, you boys train there, so you'd know. You enjoying it or what?
100%. We're going to give you your flowers, man. Like, I remember when we met, 6 months ago? I feel like I've known you for like about 10 years now.
Yeah.
That's the type of person you are, man. You're such a humble dude, sharing your love for the fitness industry and trying to spread it around the Gold Coast there. We work out at Active Ashmore, and such a good community up there.
Good gym.
But awesome gym, bro. Like, love what you're doing on the Gold Coast. But
It feels like we've known you for like 10 plus years.
Yeah,
I
guess that's the whole point of it, man. And I guess I love people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, and I get to do this every single day. I get to connect with people like yourselves, and I guess that's why the gyms go so well, because it is all about connection as well. And look at this, like we're all getting together, having a bit of a yarn and telling our story. So it's pretty cool.
100%.
No,
This is an easy conversation today, so we're going to make it nice and cruisy for you. You've probably done a lot of these before, eh?
Yeah, I've done a couple, man. It's not heaps, but I mean, I think I get better every single time I get in front of the mic. But it's cool that we're all here. We've obviously built a life where we can. What is it? It's Monday, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting around having a yarn. I mean, that's pretty cool that all of us have built a bit of a life that we can do that. You know
100%. 100%.
It's pretty cool.
Let's just get
kick it
straight
off,
to
mate.
it. Let's
Let's
kick it off, man. Like Bartolo. What is Bartolo?
Yeah.
Sounds
Samoan.
It sounds Samoan.
Sounds Samoan,
What is
eh?
it? What is
I
it?
wish
Where
I
you
wish I
from?
had the Samoan. I wish I had the big Samoan frame. You know what I mean? Maybe I would have been better than average rugby league player. But it's Maltese.
Yeah.
So
I thought it
Maltese.
was Italian. I thought it was Italian, but
I told
we got
you.
it wrong.
Close.
Maltese.
descent. So my old man and his family immigrated to Australia, and now we're here. So
Amazing.
The Bartolo name is strong in Mackay, where I'm from. It sounds like a Smith in Mackay, because there's such a big Maltese community.
True.
Which is pretty cool.
So let's get into it. Like, give us a rundown of your childhood. You said you're from Mackay.
Yeah.
Man, we want to go right.
You want to delve deep?
Yeah, we want
go deep,
to
mate.
go deep to the childhood.
Yeah, look, I think it started with mum and dad. Mum's Scottish, so their family migrated here as well, and dad's Maltese. So again, that little journey of migration, and for those two to connect and obviously have a family of their own, I mean, the chances of that are crazy in itself. So, but pretty humble beginnings. They both moved here, and look, without throwing mum and dad under the bus, they didn't really get much of an education. Dad's parents could barely speak the language and things like that. So that whole barrier existed for them, and they didn't get the best education. And Dad's always been a labourer, a real hard working man. I'm really, really proud to say that he's probably the hardest working bloke I know.
Yeah.
But there's just that labourer mentality, you know what I mean? So I was very lucky from a young age to pick up on that and see that grind and hard work will get you somewhere. Yeah. With us, we had 7 kids in our household, man, in a 3-bedroom home. So she was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But Dad always found a way. He always found a way to produce, and that's seeing that from a young age.
Yeah.
It really blows your mind. And now when you have your own kids and things, you look back and you think, geez, how did he do it? Like, I've got one kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had 7, and Mum never worked. Wow. So that's some hard work, man. That takes some toil and some grind, you know what I mean?
100%. I feel like it's similar to, Polynesian culture. You look at our parents, and like they were just hard workers, just out there, just grinding, just to put food on the table, let alone pay for school fees and all that. But it's like, I feel like we're from similar backgrounds, knowing that like our parents were hardworking, and then when you think back to now, like we got kids, we're trying to do the same thing with that hustle and grind. Yeah. But it's
and you guys, did your parents move here, or were they born here?
Yeah, so Mum and Dad, they moved over to Australia 1993.
Yeah.
So obviously both parents didn't really speak English at the time, very minimal.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing.
Yeah, see,
just grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
Just obviously trying to feed us and protect us and do everything they could to.
But you see that and pick up as a kid, man.
Yeah.
You really, the things that you take in, you don't even really know till later in life. You know what I mean? But seeing that's where the grind and the hustle comes from. I think seeing your parents do it. So.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like I remember, same as my parents. So they moved over here back in the 80s, man, and it's like, you know, I was born here, then brother was born in New Zealand and then came back here. So it's like they went back and forth, and like I was in 2 countries in the space of like 2-3 years, man. So it's like it was good, like, you know, childhood, but at the same time you respect the grind and hustle that they went through. So I feel like you learn some of that as a young kid, knowing
100%.
that the hard work that they went through to try and help the family.
Yeah, and it's probably similar. Like I look back, it's probably not normal for a 6-7-year-old to worry about where the next meal's coming from, or be worried about money or waiting. I remember distinctly as a kid, we had this like glass panel out the front of the house, and just waiting for dad to get home or mum to get home from whatever she was doing to be on the grind. You know what I mean? So it was like just having that anxious feeling, like when are they getting home? They're out there working hard.
Yeah.
And as a young kid, you probably shouldn't have those feelings, you know what I mean? I know now with Ollie, I sort of worry that I'm spoiling him too much because he's got everything at his feet. But having that anxiety or whatever as a kid was my main driver because I wanted to do better. I really wanted to be something better. I didn't want that anxiety. I wanted to fight through it.
That's so good, man. So good.
But yeah.
What would if we think back to your childhood, what kind of child were you? Like we respect our parents and how they raised us in there, but like let's dive into what kind of kid were you?
That's an awesome question, Zebby, because I think there's different stages to it. I mean, at the start, I was probably confused and not very confident. You know what I mean? I think having that upbringing where you feel poor, man. I felt poor as a kid. You know what I mean? So I was going to school and I felt inferior from the start, and I was always told that you're going to be a brickie, or you're going to be this. There was always a cap on it. There was never you're going to go to a good university and get this great education and become a doctor. So the confidence really wasn't there growing up. You know what I mean? Because it's like anything. If people are putting a cap on you like that, and unbeknown to my parents, they didn't know they were putting a cap on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but they were. So the first few years of going to school, I was pretty unconfident, and I definitely got left behind as far as the traditional schooling system goes.
Yeah.
And then I guess you turn into, from there, that year 4, year 5, when you're coming of age, you start turning into the class clown to get attention, because you can't get attention from your education because you're sitting at the back going, what the hell? What does this even mean?
Yeah.
And then they bloody went and thrown algebra at me. Why would you put maths and English together? I couldn't get maths and I couldn't get English, and then they put them together.
Yeah.
What a G up that is. You know what I mean? So you start entering those years in grade 8, grade 9, and I was very, very lucky. I had a couple of teachers that really pulled me aside, seen a bit of potential in me, especially in rugby league at that time. And I got the chance to go to St. Pat's, which was a rugby league-based school. Yep. And I had my principal there, Mr. Lawler, he really pulled me in a couple of times, and he knew we were doing it tough financially at home. Yep. So I didn't have to pay for school, which was amazing to go to a Catholic school like that and not pay. But he just spent so much time with me trying to walk me through a few things. And I really owe it to him and a few other lads. You know Selassie Birdie pretty well.
Birdie.
Yeah, I credit a lot to Sal too, because he came from a quite affluent family, and just seeing the way he lived, I wanted a piece of that as well. But as far as that goes, I was probably very disengaged, to be honest. And you've got that you've got the foundation, the AIM Foundation.
Nice, thanks,
mate. I relate to that very, very much, because school's not for everyone, and I felt the whole time I was at school, man, I felt dumb, honestly, and that's the truth. I felt like I was never going to get anywhere because, I felt dumb at school, but maybe smart at other things.
Let's take it back there. Like, do you feel like, with a foundation like ours, how we're trying to target the youths of Southeast Queensland, and we want to go national with it, but like, Was there anything back then, like to come into school, deliver programs around just self-confidence, empowering you to go on and chase your goals and that?
Yeah, nothing like that at all. And back then it was, you're either smart or you're dumb. It's that simple, you know what I mean? And it just can't be broken up like that, because we don't all learn the same. And that's the big thing at the moment that I worry about with Ollie going to school as well. Because what if he's like me? What if he has the attention span that lasts 20 seconds and he can't concentrate like that, but he can learn practically like I can? So there wasn't anything like that, Zebby, and I think what you're doing is extremely important, man. I truly do. It's honestly, it's a massive thing. It's so close to my heart because I lived it and breathed it.
Just want to quickly shout out to you guys. We are doing a charity event with you guys, and appreciate you guys letting us use your facilities, man. So trying to raise money for the foundation is hard, but love how you guys just jumped on board and collabed with us.
Like I said, there is probably so many similarities for me. And probably you lads as well, you know what I mean? Like how many times were you sitting at school thinking, hey, I mean, you guys might have been straight A students, I don't know. But I definitely...
I don't know about that.
I don't know, guys.
But I definitely wasn't. And if it wasn't for rugby league for me, and I know for you guys, obviously rugby league was your driver and the thing that got you guys through life. But footy just gave me enough to believe in myself. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be. And that's the honest truth.
Was that the drive? I mean? Like, obviously, you said like what you said before, hey, you felt dumb and that.
Yeah.
But what changed over time? Like, obviously, as a kid, and that was obviously rugby league was the drive for you.
Great question again. I think rugby league was the thing that I used to get confidence. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't get it through sitting there and being an attentive student or anything like that. So that gave me a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. I did that. I did a potty with Sal a couple of months ago, and one of the things he said to me was, "Bart, you're going to don't take this the wrong way, but in everything you've ever done, you're probably the least talented person I've ever seen in my life, but you find a way to get good at things."
That's so good.
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
that's just through grit and determination. So whatever I did, I just found a way to get good at it, and footy was just enough to get me down here. I end up playing with Seagulls when I was a young fella. And then, getting back to your question, which was where did you find the confidence, mate? I didn't find confidence, to be honest, till I was about 26, 27 years old. Wow. And that was through a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And back then, I probably walked around like with all this bravado and a little bit of ego, but it was all bullshit. It's that simple. There wasn't any real confidence behind it. The only thing that started getting me confidence is me failing, me getting out there, getting on the grind, getting on the hustle, failing at a few things and thinking, well, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. Like I've failed at something, and all this build up about failure and it's the end of the world, and it probably comes from my parents in my childhood, thinking that if you go off the path and you fail, it's the end of the world. It was like nothing. I was like, okay, let's go again. Let's go again. And let's refine whatever process I was trying to achieve until I got good at it, until I created systems, procedures that made things successful. And that's where I got the confidence from, not till I was 26, 27 years old.
That's
crazy, man. That's crazy. Like you're just the definition of someone just like set back, boom, what's next? Set back, boom, what's next? You just keep going. And like that's where people that's their biggest fear. It's just failing.
That's it.
And so 100%. Like if your biggest fear is failing, then how are you going to succeed in life?
Yeah.
When like you can't expect to just go from 0 to 100 and be an overnight success.
No, that's it.
You've got to really put yourself out there. Like we spoke about it on our intro.
Yeah.
Like we come up with the idea of the Easy Project probably 2 weeks ago, and we're just going, bro, let's do a potty. What's the worst could happen? We're here. We're doing our first episode with the king, Bartolos. Let's go, bro.
And I mean, again, it comes down to those limiting beliefs that your folks put on you. They don't mean it. Like my mum and dad didn't mean it, but they just didn't know any better either. You know what I mean? Yeah. And my brothers and sisters are all still in Mackay. For some reason, man, I had an urge to get out of there, and I just wanted to do better. And whatever that is, some people don't. They want to just go through life, and that's okay as well.
Yeah.
But for me, man, I had this burning desire in my tummy to get out and get after it. So that's what I've done.
To make a change.
Hopefully, I'll be like that till I'm in the grave.
You can see it, eh?
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I've got a question for you. So, like, you know how like you've left Mackay, and like you say some of your family, pretty much all your family's still up there.
All my family.
What's that feeling like deep down, like like do you ever feel like damn, it feels a bit selfish knowing that you've like left that and that?
Yeah,
or
I guess there's a whole range of emotions, Zebby. I guess like when I first left, my folks weren't in the best way financially, and I was trying to charge ahead at that time, so probably a little bit of guilt at first, because you've got your brothers and sisters that you're trying to protect, and you've got your family that you're trying to cultivate and help out as well. But then you just pack up and leave one day, you know what I mean? So probably a little bit of a guilt to start, but then as it's gone on, there are stages of loneliness, obviously, and things like that. But I think what I've done is really change what they believe is possible, and that made look. I'm not some mega successful person, but to change the path of the family and to go, okay, well, anything's possible. You know what I mean? It's that's how I feel now. I feel like for their kids, for even them, they can see, well, Anthony's done it, so I can do it. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. I think that guilt and that loneliness turns to, well, now you've got a responsibility, and you've got a responsibility to do better. And that's how I feel now, and I'm loving that. I'm loving that responsibility to be that pillar in the family.
Oh, that's amazing! Because man, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
breaking the cycle.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean? It's proven that anything's possible.
So good.
Nice. All right, man. Thanks for that. But like, let's get into it. Let's get into the journey.
Yeah.
Like the journey you're on now. But how did that journey start? Like, how did we bypass the childhood?
Yeah.
You said you were like you're a bit of the. Were you a rat bag in high school?
Were you a hustler?
I was one of those kids that teachers liked, but I was a rat bag. Yeah. Teachers liked me because they knew that I had a bit of a kind heart. Yeah. But and nothing I ever did was with malice. But the way I got, like I said, the way I got through is being a people person. And I remember like almost sitting there trying to manipulate my teachers into grades, like sitting there talking to them and really trying to communicate with them on another level to show me answers or do whatever, you know what I mean? Just to baby me through to get through. But I use those skills now, those people skills that I developed in school, to connect and do what I do now. So those skills that I didn't even know that I was developing through school, that whole connection with teachers and things like that to get me through, has worked. So yes, I was a rat bag, but it wasn't any malice to what I was doing. It was always a bit of fun and some good jest. You know what I mean? So teachers liked that. I think they liked the cheekiness, and they knew that there was a lot of kindness behind who I was as a person, and they sort of I got away with blue murder pretty much for some reason. Like some kids would do things and then I would do it and I'd get away with it. So but it was just
teacher's pet.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that, but
give me an A.
In a roundabout way. It's one of those things. But getting back to the rat bag sort of stuff, I sort of started my first business when I was in school, and illegal, albeit. We seen a little gap in the market for selling beers. So my old man had
in Mackay.
My old man had a few beers in the shed. He liked a beer here and there. So we were at a party once, and all these kids were chasing beers, and I was like, you know what? I know where we can get beers. So,
I love this. This is bad. Here we go. This is where it starts. This is the journey.
It is. This is what taught me about economics. We could buy beers for about $1 a can back then. You could buy the old bitters cans, and we went back. Me and a mate, we filled backpack full of cans, and we started charging $5 a can. So a little bit of markup there, you know what I mean. And that became a bit of a roll on. Every weekend we'd go out with a backpack and just flick beers on the side to the older kids. And honestly, mate, we were making some serious mint. Like I'm serious. I'm talking like $300, $400, $500 on the weekend.
Wow.
And for a couple of battlers from Mackay, that's big money.
That's massive.
Well, that's huge back then
huge.
too.
Like, how old were you?
15, 16.
15.
Yeah,
Underage.
Hustling straight away at the age of 15. That's the way. There it is, man. There it is. That's why you are how you are today, man.
Yeah, well, it honestly is one of the reasons. But that was the start of it. So a little bit of a rat bag, but never any malice.
So you got a bit street smarts here, because I remember reading the 50 Cent book, bro. Like, he was crazy. Like, he learnt all those stuff like as a young kid.
Yeah.
Took it into business.
Yeah.
Similar to you. You learn as a young kid how to hustle and make your first dollar in that. But like
$4 profit
you're
off
making,
one can.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty good.
What about the markup?
Honestly,
What is it? 200% markup? Was it?
400,
Oh, wow.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so take us on this journey that you're in. Obviously, now you're in business.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, we labelled quite a few things that you do now.
Yeah.
Take us through.
Yeah,
the journey,
I guess, I think it started late for me. Like, I'm one of those people, like I touched on before, where the talent doesn't really exist, but the grind does, and the heart does. You know what I mean? I'll have a go at absolutely anything, and I'll put 110% effort into it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. I won't leave one stone unturned. So, for me, my journey started when I come down here, and like I said before, there was bravado. There wasn't really any confidence. It was just all bullshit. And then coming down here, I was playing down at Seagulls, and I got an apprenticeship as an electrician. So for me, that was big. You know what I mean? Being a Sparky, there's no way in this world I would have passed that aptitude test. Not one chance. But it was through the connections I made with footy that got me into that. And I started gathering some confidence from there, I guess. I was always of the mindset that if I'm going to be an electrician, I'm going to be the best paid electrician in Australia. And that was honestly what I thought from the start. So I started my apprenticeship with a bloke that was paying me $6 an hour. I'm not joking.
What?
$6 an hour. I've got my first ever paycheck at home, $213.
For the week?
For the week.
What's it going right now for an apprenticeship?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it should have probably been more than $6 then, I'll give you the hot tip. But 38 hours work, $213.
After tax or?
Nah, man, no, $213. Then I had to pay tax on that. Wow. So that was living alone, living away from home, no financial support, paying rent, I didn't have a car, so trying to save up for a car then. And I just... From there, I was like, well, you're not living what you said. You've got to be the highest paid electrician. So I just started applying for apprenticeship jobs, and a bloke at Seagulls got me a job where it was triple the amount of money. And then from there, I always searched for the overtime. Every Friday, I'd be getting calls from heaps of different bosses saying, hey, do you want that overtime? Do you want that overtime? I was like, yep. So I also got a job as a roofer on the weekends as well. So I was working 7 days a week, literally 7 days a week. So weekends I was roofing, trying to get ahead, and then I was trying to play footy Sunday afternoon too. So it was tough trying to get a little bit of money from footy, trying to get money being a Sparky and roofing. So I just had it in me, man. I just wanted to make it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So. From there, from that job, it was like 3 times more. I went onto a gas plant from there. Yeah. So as an apprentice, I went onto a gas plant, and then as soon as I got my ticket, like I said, I wanted to be the highest paid Sparky in Australia. I just started to apply for crazy jobs that I wasn't qualified for, so to speak. Yeah. But I just thought, stuff it. I'll get in there and I'll learn on the run. So I applied for a job on Barrow Island, and I remember having everything set out. Like I was like, if they ask me all these questions, I'll be able to look at that and answer that, because realistically, it was way above what I should have been going for.
Yeah.
But I got on there, and there was an Irish fella interviewing me, and we just connected straight away. Yeah. Just had a bit of banter, had a little bit of fun. Didn't ask me one electrical question. Yeah. And at the end of it, said, "You got the job." True. So again, those skills that I learned as a kid, communicating and speaking passionately and making sure that...
Such a big thing.
They know that I'm keen for the job and I'm up for anything. And whatever gets thrown at me, I'm going to solve it. I may not know the answer, but I'm going to solve it. And that was the whole genre of that interview. And I remember thinking, if he asked me an electrical question, he's on bloody stuff. You know what I mean? But,
sign me up. Just sign me up.
But at the end of the interview, I got the job because he could hear how keen I was. from there, when we talk about highest paid sparkies in Australia, like not to gloat or anything, but there were times I got on this gas plant. There was night shift, and we were making honestly like $5.5, $6, $7 a week in our hand. In our hand.
Wow.
So it was that, but that was the goal. If I didn't start there and go, well, I want to be the highest paid sparky in Australia, and I didn't climb those steps, and I wasn't always looking for that new job, I wasn't always trying to put myself out there, I wouldn't have got there. I would have just been a sparky making $6 an hour, $7 an hour, whatever it was. But I had that mindset to go, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best paid.
I love it, man.
That's simple.
I love that attitude,
Yeah, that attitude is good because like you feel like sometimes we do get stuck in that comfortable state.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're happy to just stay there.
Yeah.
But then like there's that little like tick in your mind goes, nah man, I reckon I could do better.
Yeah, exactly right.
I can do better.
Exactly right.
Like I think I've outgrown this.
Yeah.
Then you go on to something different, something bigger and better. Yeah, I think like that mindset is
but
good.
You need that tick too. Like some people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like don't be listening to this and thinking, oh well, I haven't got that. I haven't got that.
Yeah,
if you're happy just cruising, then cruise. But when you've got the tick, mate, you can't sleep at night unless you fulfill it. You know what I mean? You've got to go for it. So, that's when, I guess, to be honest, the confidence in that started when I started to go, well, I'm going to do better. I'm going to go to the next job. I'm going to go to a job where I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to work it out.
Yeah.
And then it's like anything, you know what I mean? You boys you can't tell me that there wasn't games where you felt out of place when you're playing footy, you know what I mean?
All the time.
But as us watching, we think that Eddie Pettybourne and Zeb Tyre, we think you guys are invincible, you know what I mean? But there's times in the sheds you would have been like, oh, geez, do I deserve to be here? You know what I mean?
No,
but once you get out there, you play the game and you're like, well, I just showed myself and showed the world. It's exactly the same thing in life. If you're not having a crack and putting yourself out there and constantly trying things, you'll just
get
never
better.
do it. You know what I mean?
100%.
But I felt that up until I started doing that as an electrician, and then I started getting some confidence, and that probably dressed me unknowingly again for the business world because that's what it's all about.
So did you start up from the health industry? Straight after being a spark?
Yep. So after Barrow Island, I stayed there for about 12 months, and then I was like, well, there was a means to an end too, because I didn't want to be a sparky. So I climbed the ladder, I got to the top, and then I thought, well, if I can be in this for 12 months, have this much money, that's going to give me a great little buffer for doing what I wanted to do. And I remember riding out at Barrow Island goals and what I want to do, what it felt like, what it tastes like, what it really manifesting what I wanted to become. And I was so passionate about helping people. That was number one. Like I really, whatever it is, if it's financially helping people, whether it's, I can't walk past a guy with selling a big issue without buying one. I just can't. You know what I mean? It's impossible. It's not in me to walk past him. I want to help. I had that passion. I've always had that passion for helping people, and I love the fitness industry. So I put those things together. And I was like, well, I'm going full noise with this. I'm confident that I can make it work. And I bought a gym. I bought a gym off somebody. It wasn't branded Active. It was branded something else, and just jumped headfirst into it.
Wow, man, that's such a good story, man.
That's so good, eh?
When you think about like your grind and hustle of climb the ladder of being an electrician, but then you thought, nah, like you give yourself a 12-month plan to like get out and save up a buffer to go invest in something that you love doing. Yeah. So when did your love for fitness start?
Mate, I've always had it. Like I remember, even in Mackay, you know what I mean? Like growing up, I've always really liked pushing myself physically. Yeah. I think, again, there's something in people. Some people have it where they want to push themselves. And physically for me was always a great outlet. I use it as an outlet to start, but it obviously become a profession in the end. Just to push myself. From a young kid, I've always been into it, and I've always taken a bigger liking into it. I was a very small kid and a very small rugby league player at that, so I was always trying to stack weight on. Yeah. So instead of just doing it the traditional way and listening to people, again, me being me, I was like, well, how do I delve into this, and how do I take control of the situation? How do I get bigger? How do I get faster? How do I use my strengths, which obviously wasn't speed or size, to be a better footballer. So I used my determination to learn how to put size on and everything from a very young age. And that, again, unbeknown to myself, was dressing me for my later profession.
Yeah. Do you know what I love about what you constantly always say? Is how.
Yeah.
Like, that word is so powerful. Because you're like, instead of, I can't do this. Why can I not do this? But then you're like, how can I do this?
Exactly
that changes everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. I love that.
And it does, man. And I think we all have it. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a famous actor. It doesn't matter if you've played NRL or played for Australia, whatever it is, you know what I mean? You put a ring around what you can achieve.
Yeah.
And all it's about is trying to get out, go into that ring and trying to bash it forward every little bit.
Yeah.
And to do that, you've got to take risk and you've got to do something that's different. Or you stay inside your ring. And we're all different. We all got different rings. But if you want something in life, you've got to keep trying to push that boundary constantly. Just push it. It's
like getting out of the comfort zone, eh?
Exactly right.
Like, you got your comfort zone, and then like, hey, I'm in the comfort zone. How do I get? How do I? If I want to grow, got to get out of it.
Yeah.
You got to find ways to better yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And like,
right.
Get
like
comfortable
you said,
being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's it. That's a mad rugby league analogy.
Yeah. But it is.
Comfortable and uncomfortable.
Yeah. It is. And I don't, again, like, I think you get addicted to being uncomfortable. And that's where I'm at now. And that's why I've thrown myself into so many different things, because once something gets too easy for me, I'm like, well, we need
What's next?
Yeah, we need to make sure we're growing.
Yeah.
We can't. If I'm comfortable, I feel uneasy. It's like everything's going too good at the moment. I need to push a boundary a little bit.
Yeah.
And look, again, everybody's different, but that's just me, and I love that myself, and I'll fall on my sword before I give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll keep trying and trying and trying and trying, and if it all, worst thing, if it all goes to shit, there's absolutely no. I don't put pressure on myself to succeed. I just put pressure on myself to put in effort, and that's it. If I can put in that effort, that's honestly the most important thing for me, because I know I've leave no stone unturned.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter about the outcome. It just I can control the effort. That's all I can do. And if at the end of the day, if I'm controlling that, everybody's seeing me. Everybody from the outside knows I put it in 100%. I know I put it in 100%. It's all that matters to me. I swear to God, I live by that. I live by effort. That's it.
Now, starting the gym, right? Obviously, there was a risk to it.
Yeah, big time.
Were you afraid? Were you scared starting?
Mate, I was scared shitless, but I also had the confidence that that I could make it work. And there's so many people in my life that actually told me not to do it, because you look at Burleigh, well, even Burleigh now, there's upwards of 70 gyms. You know what I mean? Like,
gym on every corner.
But there is, and
Gold Coast,
some. But I just knew that with what I had, with the passion and the knowledge behind what I had in the fitness industry, that I could make it work. And we grew pretty quickly. There was a little bit of toil and grind there, but look, to answer your question, I was shit scared.
So go back to when a lot of people, I love it, like a lot of people doubted you. I love that. And we have a lot of doubters in our life.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? Because, like, you know, you do your research, you do your market analysis, you do all that kind of stuff with all the gyms around the area.
You got those
how
voices,
did you just push through? Because gym is probably one of the toughest things to do.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Zebby, I'm probably a little bit stubborn at times, and tell me I can't do something, and that's gonna make me,
bro. We're the same. I love it.
Yeah, that's gonna make me do it, and that's gonna make me do it better than everybody else. And it's still my driver today. You know what I mean? It's something that I get fed off the doubt, and I get fed off the competitors. I love it. Like, if someone new comes to town, like a new gym or something, honestly, this is an honest emotion to me. It's like, let's go. I love this. Like, bring them all. Bring everybody here. And I'll just step up and step up and step up. It just makes me get better. So for me, the doubters were like, okay, I can't wait to prove it.
That's
it
mad.
was that simple.
That's good, man. Because, like, you know, you are growing it. Like, you know,
there's no doubt.
It's like it's such a good environment. Like,
it's a mad environment.
What is it? What is it like? What is it with you and your gyms? Like, what's so good about?
Yeah,
like,
mate. Again, another really good question. I think it's like anything. Culture is so important in an organisation. You know what I mean? So, first and foremost, we care. we truly do care about every single person that walks through that door. And it doesn't matter if somebody's in there for one session or we think we're going to have them for a member for 5 years. We care about that individual that walks through the door. We want them to get the best out of it. But not only that, we care about their personal goals. We want them to not only achieve inside our walls, but we want them to achieve outside the 4 walls as well. So building that culture and making sure people understand that we care, not only about what you're doing in here, but your life outside the gym.
Yeah.
And we cultivate that community through passion and through caring.
Yep.
That's what creates the culture in our gyms, because like I said, it's pretty simple stuff. We care. If someone goes down, if there's someone doesn't even have to have a crisis, but if there's something wrong, we're the first to get on the phone and help someone out. We're the first to congratulate people if they achieve something. You know what I mean? Because we're looking outside the 4 walls. We care about our people. It's that simple.
So amazing. Well, that's a big part of you, like obviously people.
Yeah,
It's
and I
huge.
think again, put it back to rugby league, and I know that there's some great coaches out there. You've been coached by one of the best, Wayne Bennett. I think everything I read with Wayne
Wayne,
is
man.
that
Scary man. Shout out to Wayne, man. You're the man, bro.
I think he cares about his community.
Yeah.
So that culture is there straight away, because once people, again, I hate to get too quotey, but people don't care about what you know until they know you care.
Yeah.
It's that simple, you know what I mean? And we generally do. Like, I care about people. I truly do.
I just want to add on to that. Like, you tossed up Wayne Bennett, like one of the best coaches out there. Like, when I was at Newcastle, it was crazy, man. Like, he came in, like, try to like really change the culture up, and like I wasn't part of the plans going forward for him, but the one thing that I learned off Wayne was the mental game. Just like telling me, what are you doing in your spare time, Zeb? And I'm like, oh man, I think rugby league too much. Well, go get a hobby, go do something else. I don't want you to think about rugby league when you're away from training. And then like that, like me, that's when my love for golf came in. Because I had to get my mind off it. So with him, he was just so good with the mind, but he cared. He cared about his players.
Exactly. Well,
that's what you want, like within a coach, mentor. And like a mentor or even a leader of an organisation that you care. And not many businesses, even the big ones out there, are doing that at the moment.
I think
so you got to have that care.
Exactly right. That breeds all sorts of culture, because who can bud with kindness and care? Like, if you go in with kindness and care to everything, then who can argue with that? You know what I mean? Nobody on this planet can argue with that. It's that simple. So if you put people first, if you truly put people first, you hear all these little slogans that gyms and that come up with, but when you generally put the person first, you literally cannot go wrong. It's that simple.
Yeah, so good, man. Far out.
Nice, man. That's very,
I love this journey, eh?
I love the journey. I love you. I love how you've like explained that, man. But like, what are the plans going forward? Like, man, you're absolutely killing it with the gym.
There's 4 gyms now, eh?
There's four around Australia. Look, my biggest focus at the moment is trying to expand active. I've dabbled. COVID was a funny thing for me, because obviously being in the service-based businesses, we had Carmi and Magnolia Lane. Magnolia Lane's a cafe. Carmi's a restaurant, and
good food.
Yeah,
great food.
Yeah, we
Christmas party there. Foundation. Shout out to Carmi there, plugging it right now.
And then the gyms as well, all service based, all shut down pretty much. My mind was absolutely ticking. You know what I mean? So
how was that? How was that ride?
No, made it actually. We thrived through it, to be honest. I did a few little crafty things inside the businesses to help them. We set up a little hire. You could hire gym equipment out of Magnolia Lane. So all my members would go to Magnolia Lane, hire a little bit of gym equipment, go down the beach, use it. They're not only hiring the equipment to keep us going, but they would always get a coffee or a sandwich or something as well. So that also fed the cafe. Again, business is all about problem solving and thinking on your feet. And for me, it killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Wow. So we actually thrived through it. Both businesses did really well through COVID, through that system that we developed there. But again, it's thinking outside the box. It's not letting a scenario get the better of you. It's like, okay, how can we get through this? And don't get me wrong, when I heard about COVID, I reckon, like, thinking back, I reckon I had a few tears because I was like, geez, I've put all my eggs into these service-based businesses and they're all going to close. True. And I had that self-loathing feeling for probably 12 to 24 hours. And I was like, righto, wake up to yourself. How can you get through this? Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
How can we get through it? You know what I mean? So we developed a little bit of a plan and we ran with it and we thrived through it, to be honest.
So amazing, eh?
So, like, how do you, obviously you got through that COVID period and that, but how do you find that perfect person to go into business with?
Yeah, man, I don't think you ever find the perfect person to go into business with.
Come on, man. I think got two here. You got two right here waiting for you.
I think once you realise that, it's that you can leverage off of other people's strengths, but it's never going to be a perfect relationship. And then it's all about communication from there, because the way I think is going to be the different to the way my business partners think. But I need to communicate my feelings before they fester, so to speak, because I can be sitting there doing something. I'm like, well, why isn't he doing this or doing that or whatever? But he doesn't know that I'm thinking that. So it's really important to communicate, meet all the time, make it short and sharp meetings, and just make sure, hey, we're on the same page. Sweet, you go away, think the way you think, I'll think the way I think, and we'll come together. And that's actually when magic happens, when two people are so different, but they can come together because you've got different sides of the story really pushing you forward. You know what I mean? So you don't want the perfect business partner. You just want a business partner you can communicate with and actually have positive clashes with. That's where I find it's actually the best.
Do you need to have that really close friendship with them though?
No, I don't think so. Not all the time. I mean, I'm pretty lucky that I'm mates with most of mine. And the only reason why we're mates is, I think, is because we do communicate. Yep. You know what I mean? If I wasn't there communicating and we weren't on the same page, and don't get me wrong, all my business partners at some stage will give me the shit. Yep. It's that simple. And I give them the shit. Imagine being a business partner with me. I've got 10 ideas every hour.
That's ideas,
I reckon if we came up with some ideas, we'd go, yeah, bro, we're doing this. And then 2 weeks later, nah, bro, can't, bro. Put it on the shelf.
But it's honestly just about that communication and my business partners understanding me and who I am and how I work most efficiently and understanding how they work most efficiently.
Were you the driver of the seat around that gym at the time?
At the gym, definitely. Yeah. I've built it from the ground up, so yes, I've really driven that from the start. But the cafes and the restaurants, no. I've got Mitch, my business partner at Carmi and Magnolia Lane. He's a smooth operator, man. He knows how to operate a cafe and a restaurant. And I've got no idea. I recently just sold my house, and there was an article in the paper saying Gold Coast restauranteur sells his house, and they were talking about the kitchen and all this. Mate, I can barely cook a steak. It's all fake news, man.
Look, they give you your flowers, bro. They give you your flowers.
He's got a chef, I think.
Hey, man. You have the chef at home all the time? I'm coming.
Thanks, Bridget.
Yeah, that's a big one. Look, you're a big family man.
Yeah.
Also, you got your son.
Yeah.
Running your businesses. How do you go with time?
Man.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've got a very, very supporting wife, man. Like, it's like anything. You're only you're hearing half the story here, and she's obviously on the other side. And if she didn't support the crazy ideas that I had or things like that, and then we wouldn't be anywhere. But she also is very, very good at putting things together. I've used the analogy heaps. I go to IKEA, I buy the flat pack, drop it off, and she puts it together. You know what I mean? It's
I think that's like everyone's wife.
Yeah, she's a little powerhouse, and her work ethic matches mine, and I think that's why it works so well, because when you've got somebody who is as equally driven, you can get on the same page and you can understand where that person's coming from. And we need to communicate. Sometimes I go too hard on work. And I don't even realise I haven't spoken a word for the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I've just been so engrossed in what I'm doing, and she'll pull me up and say, "Hey, it's time to have a time out. We need to go away for 3 or 4 days." And I'd be stupid if I didn't listen to that, because she pulls me back, but also drives me forward. I'm
you
very
need
lucky
it,
to have her.
You need that. Like I remember, like we watched like listen to Keegan's podcast of you, and like that word balance, and you said like, man, it's irrelevant now because like you think like you've got to run a couple of businesses, and then at the same time you've got a family at home waiting for you, and they need your time, but at the same time, like how do you deal with that? You know, it's
again,
just like
man, I just don't think it really. It depends. Balance exists like a seesaw, and that's what I explained previously. Like sometimes you've got to be up here with work, but when it swings, you've got to be up here with family. You know what I mean? So that's the way I use balance anyway. Some people can stay in the middle. I can't. I'm all in on something. I need to give it everything, and that may be a week period, 2 week period, 3 day period, whatever it is. But when I'm in the zone, I've got to go, and I've got to go hard. But when I'm with the zone with my family as well, it's tools down, and I'm in the zone with those guys
That's
as well.
so good.
So for me, that's the way I deal with balance.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, obviously. But
is there a new drive now? Because obviously you got kids now.
Yeah.
Your son, eh?
Yeah.
Is there a new drive for you now?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I had a little bit of trouble mentally actually when I first had Ollie, because I was just wondering what sort of dad I'd be and if I was ready for it. You know what I mean? I think most blokes do. Like it's a responsibility to show a boy how to be a man. Yeah. We all feel that. You know what I mean? And what man do we want to portray to our sons is a big question I think that we all ask. And there's so much self-doubt there. I actually wanted a girl really bad because I felt that if I had
you up.
Yeah, well, if I had a girl, I just thought that all I need to do, and I know that I'm good at loving, like I'm a good, kind-hearted person and I care. If I had a girl, I just thought that's all I have to do. My responsibility is over. I just got to love her to death. And that's easy, you know what I mean? But with a boy comes a bit more responsibility. And again, nothing against my parents, but I just wanted my little boy to have, or girl, to have that a few more runs up the steps, so to speak. And once it all settled down and I realised, hey, just keep doing what you're doing and keep having a crack, then he's going to be fine. But I struggled a little bit with that. And it's a new driver too, because as soon as you have them, you're like, okay, I want the best life for them. I want them to go to a good school. I want them to do all this. So
100%.
You want to be successful for them, but you can't put that pressure on yourself either. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, or you can't put that pressure on yourself. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Good work, man. But hey, man, with the girls, man, hey, it's good to have one. But I've got three. I've got 3 girls, man. I've got 3. Hey, is there still a thing? Got to pay for the weddings?
100%.
3 weddings to pay for? Nah, no thanks. Oh man,
you got more money than the Queen. You'll be right.
Hey, man. When it comes to 3 girls, like there's 3 girls in the house plus the wifey, 4.
4 and 1.
It's just like it is a lot of work.
That's what this poddy's for, man. You got the brother there.
Man, where's my boy? need someone to carry on the name. See, that's all right. Like the Bartolo name's getting carried on.
It is.
Wow, that's so good, man. I love the stories, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of and again, man, I'm still grinding. Like we all know, you guys have been there as well. You know what I mean? Like when you're at the top of your rugby league career, Eddie and Zeb, did you guys think you'd made it? You know what I mean?
That's a tough one. Like
the hardest part of playing in that highest level was, you made it to the top, but to stay there.
That's it.
That's the hardest part.
That's like I keep saying these to young kids. You know, like when I said, "What's the hardest thing about playing NRL?" I said the hardest thing was to stay there.
Yeah.
How do you stay there? Yeah. Like you guys might get there and you might have your debut and you might play 4 or 5 games, and then you're like thinking, how come I'm not getting any more games? You know,
that's it.
He goes, well, you've got to like get out of your comfort zone and work harder. Do more training. Work on your game more to be able to show the coach that you're going to be the best in that team.
Bang, and you've just hit the nail on the head there. You know what I mean? Because it's the same in the business world, and it's the same as climbing to the top or getting to that level. How do we stay there? You know what I mean? And you said like keep training, You got to keep evolving in the business world. You got to keep trying to do different things, or you get stagnant. So it's exactly the same, and it's extremely hard to be comfortable when you're in this world. So if you enter it, don't expect you'll ever feel like you've made it, because it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. 100%. I once had the perception that 2 gyms, 3 gyms, 4 gyms, a restaurant, a cafe, I've made it. You know what I mean? But it's just a start. You think you think you're ever comfortable. You're not, man. You got to keep pushing and keep evolving.
I just want to add to that. Like, you think about like a rugby league career. Like, you know, me and you, Eddie, we've probably played, you know, at the highest level.
Yeah.
But then like you come to this transition period and you're back down, and you're starting, and like we talk about in business, like you're not an overnight success, and you got to like build the foundations and all that. I feel like for us, we're just starting over again.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in our transition and we're starting over again, and we're crawling now. We're back to crawling. We're back to being babies again, like within the business world. You know, we want to be successful.
Yeah,
we want to get out there and chase it hard like you are at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it doesn't happen overnight. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of us that come into retirement. I feel like, okay, you've got to, like I said last week, like you got a million things in your head. You need to stick to one and just perfect it.
Yeah.
Until you become a master at it.
But again, you guys you hit the nail on the head without probably even knowing it. You're crawling and you're moving. And if you've got a vision to get up and sprint one day, you just got to keep that vision, because you're moving at the moment. Yeah. And let's just keep that momentum. Let's keep that grind. And like you said, it does not happen overnight. There's no way in the world, if you think you're going to get into business and you romanticize about it being easy and you think it's going to happen overnight, don't get into it. You know what I mean? Because the best thing about business is that journey, is that grind. It's the people that love that, who love getting up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock every single morning, going out and getting after it. Because it doesn't matter if I had 100 gyms, I'm still going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to get after it, because that's what I love. I love that journey. It's not about the success attached to it. One day I might get up and sprint and everything, but it's get into it because you love that journey. You know what I mean? Rather than wanting to be rich or whatever. Yes, it's always good to have money, but get addicted to the grind. Get addicted to that.
So you're a massive believer of, like, if you're going to start a business, get ready for most of your time getting taken away from you?
Yeah, in some ways, but it's just about being smart, because there's a lot of people, and I'm very guilty of it, 50-40% of your time can be spent on fluff, you know what I mean? It can be spent in your own head, trying to think about what everyone else is doing, or this or that or the other thing. Thinking I've got to have more presence on Instagram. I've got to do this. Just get to work. You know what I mean? And you'll save time. I'm only just getting better at that now. You know what I mean? I'm still not great at it, but being more efficient gives you time. There's heaps of time in the day, man. We just don't use it properly. It's that simple.
100%.
I wish we were time like good time management when we were playing. There's a lot of free time there, bro.
But again, you don't know that because you only know what you know. So it's. In the business world, you said it, man. You're crawling, you're moving forward, but you just don't really know it. It's that simple.
Nah, sweet.
So obviously with the business and everything that you're doing, you're waking up 4 a.m. every morning. I feel like your son's looking at you going, "What a dad! Like that's my superhero."
Yeah, well, look, I hope so, but. The thing is, and I'll just use today as an example. I got up at I was up at 3:30 this morning, and I needed to get an hour of work done before I took some classes. So I got up, I did that hour of work, I took some classes. But then at 8 a.m. when I get home, I've got an hour to spend with him. You know what I mean? And what a privileged life that on 8 o'clock on a Monday, I get to spend an hour of time with my son before anything. And then I'll get to spend some time with him again, the Savo. So we're learning how to ride a bike at the moment without training wheels. And, so we spend an hour doing that, and that's 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. And then I get to knuckle down for another hour and go into deep work, and then I get to spend an hour with you guys spinning some yarns.
That's good, eh?
Having easy conversations, bro. Let's go. Easy projects.
So there are benefits to business as well. As long as you're willing to put... When you knuckle down, let's knuckle down and get those little hour spells done. But it's flexible.
That's so good.
How do you plan out your day though?
Well, again, a great question, Zebby. I'm trying to get a little bit more efficient at that. Last night I spent about half an hour planning out my week and having a little bit of an idea of what I want to achieve. And again, use that word manifest, but really thinking about how I want to feel on Friday afternoon. And what I want to achieve, and do I want to feel like I didn't get enough done, or do I want that feeling of feeling accomplished and feeling like I've achieved something? So really visualising that on a Sunday, how I want to feel on Friday. Because how I feel on Friday is going to determine my weekend with my family. Am I going to be switched on or still switched on from the week because I didn't get enough done? Or am I going to be able to spend a weekend with them really being dialed in and focused? So that's my driver, to be a little bit more focused throughout the week, is making sure that I can that I've got that spare time with them. But again, it comes planning on Sunday for me is a big thing, and having those visualizations. And I know it sounds crazy, but feeling, how do I want to feel Friday? Because we've all got there. We've all got to Friday and gone, geez, I should have got more done. You know what I mean? But I really try and focus on, okay, how do I want to feel Friday?
I remember watching a reel about Dan Carter. He plans his week to detail on a Sunday. So because he's a detailed person, and he found that he was so empty after his retirement. He succeeded so much in life, but then he was still empty. So he went back to what he was good at, and he was good at structure. He was good at the finer details of what made him one of the best fly halves in the world. So every Sunday, like you said, he's there writing out his whole week of planning in that. And I go, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, man. I don't think people actually realise how powerful it is because it's just an idea until it's on paper. And when it's on paper, it's real. It's that simple. It's that is the truth of it. And it's actually a powerful exercise to write things down and write a goal down. And it's something that I'm big on is writing those goals down, because it doesn't exist. It's not out there. It's not a physical thing until it's on paper. Get it on paper, man. And how many times you revisit it, you'll just keep revisiting it, keep seeing it, and then you'll do anything to try and get it.
100%.
It's that simple. And people don't value that enough.
No, they don't. I try and empower that with the kids at school. We give them a booklet and says, hey, whenever you write something, go back, revisit it, and read it, because it's powerful. You know, you're in the moment. And you're writing about you know how can I be respectful? You know, what are my goals? And all that kind of stuff. How can I be resilient?
And I don't think people understand. It's very simple, because the difference between not writing it down and writing it down is it just makes it real. It's not. It doesn't exist. It's in your head. So to write it down, it makes it real. It's that simple. And that's the power in it. It makes it real. It's something physical there on paper. So it's achievable. It's not real until you write it down.
100%. You can't write it on your phone. It's not the same.
No, it's not. It's not. Get it down on paper.
All right, let's wrap it up now. Hey, just a key message, bro. To our audience, you know, we are about empowering our audience to go chase their goals, chase their dreams. What is the key message, bro? Yeah, look, for me, I think I'm living, breathing proof that it doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter how smart you are, or it doesn't matter about your athletic ability or anything like that. You can achieve great things in this world if you're willing to grind. It's that simple. If you're willing to get down and get dirty, you'll get somewhere. So if you don't know where to start, I know it's very cliche, but just start. Get out there, make a few mistakes, and learn that you're not made of glass. Because once you work that out, you've got all the power in the world.
That's so good, man. I love that.
Good. Love it.
So simple, eh?
Simple.
It is.
So
just
simple.
like me.
Is it simple? Is life simple? Hey, man, give us what you're on anything. Nah, man, I appreciate your time, man. I know you're a busy man.
I know. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome. Easy conversation. The Easy Project. That's what we're about. Spreading the good vibes. Like what we do at your gym too. Yeah, no, you do. You guys do an amazing job. And just to touch on that too, for me to even be here with you guys, I'm a rugby league nerd. You know what I mean? I do. I love it. And seeing you boys play my whole life, I look up to you boys, and you probably don't know that, but I do. So come on, bro.
Honestly, so talk about giving the flowers. You guys have been there, done that.
Bro, he's South Sydney legend, bro.
Yeah, I know that.
Hey, he used to point at the camera and go, "That's me, bro."
But honestly,
running off John Sutton all the time.
That's what manifesting can do, man, and believing in yourself and doing everything. So it's a pleasure to be on with you boys, because as much as I'm a guest on your poddy, I look up to you guys so much. So thanks very much.
I appreciate it.
First guest, first episode. Let's go. Nice Bartolos. Sorry, bros.
Shout out to Active Gym.
Shout out to the Active Strength Co gyms. Hey, man, get out there and come and be a part of the community. Great community, great vibes. Hey, leave your egos at the door too when you come in. Is that right? Is that right, Bart?
No egos at all.
We don't want our egos in the gym.
Stay humble.
It's a great gym.
Thanks, Batsy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.